Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
February 7, 2020, the Customer Fallout Edition. And we'll start with that story as the fallout for Airbus continues as several other countries are now beginning investigations based upon the allegations and revelations from Airbus's corruption scandal that were released in the deferred prosecution agreements in the United Kingdom and in the United States. Countries such as Ghana, Colombia, and Sri Lanka have all announced they are opening investigations into Airbus dealings where they paid bribes to make sales to those countries. So it's interesting to see the scandal reach a new level in terms of response, and now the customers of Airbus are reacting, as you might expect, quite negatively. We've seen fallout a little bit earlier from other Malaysian and Argentinian officials, and now we're seeing other countries open up investigations. So Airbus is going to have a lot to do to try to mend fences on this. The next story is really fairly unbelievable to me anyway, and that is Prada had a fashion line of monkeys in blackface. I'm not quite sure you could have anything worse racially, but now the event happened back in December of 2018, and the company settled with the New York Commission on Human Rights, paying a fine, creating a diversity officer, and creating scholarships and paid internships for underrepresented groups as a part of the agreement. The municipal agency will enforce this agreement. Once again, it was pretty shocking when this line called Prada came up, and the pictures are just stunningly in bad taste. Typically, what a company does is there's customer backlash, and then the products are removed. But here we actually had at least a civil prosecution on this matter and the settlement by Prada. So this could open up a new area of exposure for companies, certainly when they do something this inane. Next up is the EU has deepened its inquiry into Facebook's data practices as Facebook continues to throw dirt in the face of the United States citizens because of their data practices, saying we are not going to change anything. The EU Commission has recently ramped up its pursuit of documents relating to allegations of Facebook using users' data to stifle competition, reward its partners, and cutting off those of rivals. It's very interesting to see the Europeans really lead this effort when, of course, the U.S. administration has basically decided to bury its head in the sand and to allow this to move forward. So Facebook could face a huge fine in Europe over their data practice, and more particularly their fact that they don't really seem to want to do anything to change it. So we will certainly keep our eye on this. And finally, more problems for Boeing as the Dutch authorities want to reopen an investigation from a 2009 crash that had striking parallels with the 2 more recent 737 MAX crashes. Members of the Dutch parliament want to question Boeing about possible influence that Boeing exercised over the Dutch investigation, which killed 9 people on a Turkish airline. Most interestingly, Boeing said they are not going to cooperate with this. So in the customer relations department, Boeing yet stubs its toe again. Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening.